Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Hunter, again. I am now on vacation with my mom in Portugal. I get to see her once a year, and normally we go to some interesting place, and it just so happens to be an amazing opportunity for photography. This time, I'm doing something really interesting, and basically the backstory is that my mom, going on this vacation, wanted a camera with which she could learn to do some photography because she has never really done a lot of photography, and I thought it'd be fun to teach her how to do photography, and maybe if she takes some nice photos, she can also give them to me and I can see if Shutterstock will accept them. Of course, she didn't want to spend money on a DSLR or anything too over the top, so I looked around on the internet and I found this camera here. It is a Canon Ixus 132, I think. Yeah, I forget, that's what it's called in Europe. There is a different name for it in the US, and I'll put that in the video. This is a really small, compact camera that cost $100. And on top of the $100 came an SD card, this small little Manfrotto pocket tripod like I was showing in my last equipment video on my DSLR that I actually use, and a few batteries, because the battery life, as you can imagine, on a digital camera like this is not too good. This camera, as it stands, unfortunately does not come with the capability to shoot raw images, and the dynamic range is pretty terrible, and a lot of things about it for a $100 camera are not really that great. There are no manual controls. You can only control the ISO manually. So I found out that Canon PowerShots can be modded with a firmware called CHKD. That firmware will allow you to shoot raw images that actually contain all of the dynamic range that you can possibly get from this tiny little CCD sensor. And you have full manual control. It basically turns this compact camera into a camera that is actually technically capable of shooting stock-worthy images for $100. And I thought that this small little package itself, which is maybe a third the size of my DSLR, is quite powerful, and I thought it'd be interesting just to see how my mom would cope with the learning curve of photography with now manual controls on this little compact camera. Of course, I thought I would share with you some beauty here in Lisbon, and we'll be going to Croatia next week, and I would like to take you along, and I'll keep you up to date every now and then with how my mom's progress is going and how this camera's working out. I'm very excited about this as a little photography project. It's a very, very small camera, and I think it's a really interesting idea to spend just $100 on something that could potentially give you stock photos on which you could maybe earn a few $1,000s, which would be an amazing return on investment compared to €500 for a DSLR body and then 300 more for the lens. We'll see how that goes. I look forward to taking you around with me in Portugal here. Yeah, looking forward to it. So I have my mom here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about how her learning process has gone so far as someone who has never really done much with photography, and see just if it really is possible that a person within 1 week can learn to take stock photography with a digital point and shoot camera. And that's what we're just gonna discuss a little bit and see what she has thought about the process so far.
Well, it has been a learning experience, somewhat frustrating for me because I knew absolutely nothing about photography. The frustration came in when I was trying to take the best photos, because chances of me coming back to Lisbon, Portugal, are zero. So I just wanted to make sure that I took some good photos home with me. I felt like the first couple days, when you let me get used to this cute little camera, it's awesome as far as size and carrying go, on auto. I got some photos that
that was the
I liked. That was the first 2 days.
First 2 days?
First 2 days I used it on auto. However, when you go back and review your pictures and you zoom in on them, you can see
the automatic settings
just how blurry they are and how grainy.
And we did talk about the difference between a photo for a memory and a photo for commercial purposes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Auto is great for memories.
Yeah.
But then you started breaking it down and You took it off of auto setting, and I got scared.
The first thing we did was shutter speed.
Shutter speed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we haven't gone to ISO yet. I wanna try and cover this sort of photography triangle for every photo with ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. I would say so far, until you got a real feel for the shutter speed on how to adjust it, like 2-3 days, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
Because when I adjust the shutter speed, I still get confused as to when I need to let more light in, when I need to take some light out.
Or if objects are moving.
Or objects are moving.
Yeah, or it's nighttime.
I didn't do well with that. Nighttime, those were okay photos. Definitely outside is much better than inside.
Yeah, and it definitely did help to have the little tripod.
Yes, got a little tripod, and I was able to actually set it down a few times. But it's easy. I think I'm getting the hang of it. I'm learning that, of course, 100 and 200 is the best, to go back and forth.
The
shutter speed, the shutter speed.
During the day. Yeah.
During the day. When I really take a good photo and then I zoom in on it, I can see details of like some of the cathedrals we visited and stuff. And so I'm excited to download all those photos and really see them and work with them other than just
I think that was
on my screen.
I think that was one of the biggest differences I saw in your photos from switching from automatic mode to just shutter priority. You could really see that the ISO stayed low and there was little noise in the photos.
Right, I did learn. You did teach me that too. I don't know what it means yet. We'll get to it.
The lower the ISO is,
but the lower the
noise
ISO,
there.
and my photos are turning out. And I do have a couple favorites on there. Like I said, I can't wait to see them to where we get them larger. And I can look at the detail. But so far, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. Like I said, I was just getting frustrated in the beginning because I was afraid I was going to miss all these great shots. For memory. But no, I'm enjoying it. I look forward to what's coming up in the next week.
Our next update will probably be from Croatia, and
hopefully by the next update, I will have mastered some great shots. I don't know about master, that may be a little strong, but I will definitely feel more confident.
Would you say photography is easy?
No. It is not. It is much more than point and shoot, point and click.
Even though the camera's
Even though this is what this is for.
You were able to learn the kind of ghetto rigged interface with the software modification.
Sure.
When you press the record button.
Right. Yeah. I've got that. Yes, I know how to go to the settings.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's going to be quite a few photos that I will have my portfolio that you did.
Let's hope so. I'll be glad to share.
Yeah.
So it's the last update on Project Stock Photography Homemade Camera Experiment. And we just went through the pictures and we saw a lot of camera flaws, I think, more than anything. Yes, over the last 2 weeks, I really understood shutter speed more and even ISO. I was able to play with it and practice with it, and I had good settings. I mean, when we looked at the photos back in raw images, some I had really bad settings, but some were really good. But I think it may have just been the camera. Yeah, and it was really weird. I think maybe it's not just the quality of the lens, but it's the quality of the sensor. And even on pictures that I thought would be technically well exposed, were pretty noisy. Even in broad daylight, it was kind of an interesting effect that I've never seen. And I think it's just the quality of the camera. Yeah, because I totally understood and expected my night pictures to be not good. I got it because I was having trouble with the settings. But even some of the landscapes during the daytime. Broad daylight. I thought I nailed them. I think it's the quality of the camera, and I don't really know what we could do about that other than see the photos that I think will be submittable to Shutterstock and check again. Based on those, see which ones are accepted. Sure. I was pretty impressed by the battery life. Yes. You switch batteries once a day, maybe? Almost a day and a half. A day and a half. Yes. That was pretty impressive for such a tiny little digital camera with tiny batteries. And I took, I don't remember the number. I didn't take 368. 368 photos? Images, which is a lot for me. Yep. And that included a lot of vacation images and what we called memory pictures. Which were just the fun pictures. Truly point and shoot. They're for my purposes, and
But I feel, all in all, I feel really, really good. I know on our first video I was concerned about getting vacation pictures, but I feel really good about the pictures that I do have. I've captured our trip, and I think I've captured some great vacation pictures. I think I've also captured a few that might be used for Shutterstock.
Yeah,
We'll
I think
see.
so too.
You'll see.
Of the 368 that we just looked at, I saw maybe 9 or 10 that could be used.
Okay.
And I'll wait until I get back to my room to do the final conclusion video. But if one of those images is accepted, it is proof of concept that this could actually work for stock photography.
It could work.
And if you had maybe some more experience with a camera and knew your way on the controls a little bit better, maybe you could actually make money with stock photography that way.
It was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah.
Yes, I have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Great photos.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no RAW capability.
No raw, but yes.
Next time I see you guys, we will be in my room. Bye-bye.
And I'll be home.
Yeah.
So I have some pretty incredible news. After going through the 368 images that my mom shot, I found immediately about 7 images, or actually 8 images, that I could perhaps use for stock photography. Of those 8, 1 was submitted as editorial because there were many people in the picture, but of the 7 that were pending otherwise, 4 were accepted by Shutterstock. And that to me is really amazing. I did not expect this sort of experiment to work so well. That does really mean that if you are patient about learning photography and enthusiastic about it and don't worry about the equipment, you can still do stock photography with tiny little point and shoot cameras. The technical fundamentals that you will need for a camera are just raw images, because you're going to need a higher dynamic range to save the blacks and whites, and manual settings. You could even do stock photography on your cell phone. As long as your cell phone supports raw imagery in some way, and manual settings is also a plus, then I mean, you're pretty much good to go. And that is so exciting. We don't have to worry about spending lots of money on cameras if we want to get into stock photography. And if you're a beginner photographer watching this, then I think this information is just priceless. I myself am very surprised, because honestly those images looked impossibly unrescuable. Above ISO 200, my noise reduction was at 100%. It just did not look good to me, but Shutterstock found quality in those images and accepted them, and I think that a similar story would happen for you. Perhaps if you're shooting images of that quality, it might take you longer to sort of gain the trust of the Shutterstock submissions and have this sort of proportion of accepted images, because I do have already 2,000 some images that were accepted. But it is possible, and you know, for me it's very exciting. I don't know if it's actually exciting for anyone else, but I think it's a really interesting lesson, and I'm happy that I did it. The trip otherwise was also great, and my mom was a good student. To explain to her what raw images were and sort of what buttons to press to go through the menus was a little bit complicated, but she seemed to get a hold of shutter priority really well, and she never really played much with the ISO because there's not much playroom with the ISO on that camera, but she just kind of got the general idea that less than 300 ISO was the only usable range. Very exciting findings, I think, from that experiment, and I look forward to what you guys have to say about it. I wonder if you guys are not surprised about that. Maybe there are photographers on YouTube that have more experience than I do and are already aware that Shutterstock also adheres to the philosophy of the best camera that you have is the one that you have with you. Maybe Shutterstock knows that, and I just did not expect them to because I'm a naive photographer, but thought it was pretty interesting, and can't wait to see you guys in the next video. See ya.